What else are you reading?
I know that I play these characters. Can I do the characters?
No, I'm watching.
Who do you want to do the characters?
I'm watching, Daddy.
Who do you want to do the characters? Who?
Okay, so we have read their pages. Genius.
Halo.
Okay, this book is called How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now they're barking. How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. Gosh, it's a real page turner.
Come on, Tryston, we're all waiting. Tryston.
Yeah. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot.
I can't see the pages.
There's a little Who there holding the Who.
Take gloves off, Tryston. I was giving you a hard time with the gloves there. I think you should go help with the characters too. Stand
But
behind
the
me.
Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas. He hated the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one knows quite the reason. It could be that his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were just too tight. And I think perhaps the most likely reason of all is that he has a heart that has two sizes too small.
Get it. Get girl. Get him. Get girl. Get.
But, whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe. Jeez, guys.
I didn't have my time of sickness, no.
And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with sneer. Tomorrow's Christmas, it's practically here. He growled and his grinchy fingers nervously drumming. There must be some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow he knew. Stop it! All the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early and rush for their toys, and then, oh the noise, noise. The one thing he hated. The noise.
Get off that stuff. That's not for you. That's for the reindeer. Go away.
Lexi, put the plate up
And
there.
the Who's young and old would
Put the
sit
plate up
down to feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast,
Oh my
feast.
Oh my
And they'd
gosh.
feast on Who pudding, rare Who roast feast, which was something the Grinch could stand the least. And then they'd do something he'd like least of all. Every Who in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing, and they'd stand hand to hand, and the Who's would start singing. They'd sing and they'd sing, and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do, the Grinch laughed in his throat. I make a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. He chuckled and he chuckled. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer, the Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, they're none to be found. But did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max and he took some red thread and he tied a big horn to the top of his head.
Do you need help?
Then he loaded some bags in an old empty sack, and on a ram scale,
Oh, that doesn't look right.
and on a ramshackle sleigh, he hitched up old Mac. Then the Grinch said, "Giddy up!" And then the sleigh started down towards the homes of the Who's lay snooze in their town. All their windows are dark, quiet snow-filled air. All the Who's are dreaming sweet dreams without care. But we came to the first little house on the square. "This is stop number 1, said the Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. He slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. If Santa Claus couldn't do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once, for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out the fireplace flue. And that's when the little Who's stockings all hung in a row. "These stockings," he grinned, "are the first things to go." Then he slithered and slunk, with a smile most unpleasant. Around the whole room he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn and plum. And he stuffed them in bags, and the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney. Then he slunk to the ice box where he took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beef. He cleaned out the ice box as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took the last can of Who hash. That's mean. Now he stuffed the food up the chimney with glee. "And now," said the Grinch, "I'll stuff up the tree." The Grinch grabbed the tree and started to shove. Then he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast. He saw a small Who. Little Cindy Lou who was no more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter, who got out of her bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie. He thought of it quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," said the fake Santa Claus, "why, there is a light on this tree that just won't let him inside. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, and I'll bring it back here." And then with his fib, fooled the child, he patted her head, he sent her a drink, and he sent her to bed. Then Cindy Lou who went up to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire. He went up the chimney himself, the old liar. The walls left nothing but cooks and some wire. And one speck of food he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Oh my goodness. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was 1/4 dawn, all the Who's still in bed, all the Who's still snooze. When he packed up his sled, he packed up their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. A 1,000 feet up on the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the top it to dump it. "Pooh, pooh, 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 to the Who," said the Grinchiously humming. "They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They'll just wake up, I know just what they'll do. The mouths will hang open for a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry, boo-hoo." That's a noise, grinned the Grinch. That's simply I must hear. So he paused. The Grinch put his hand to his ear. He did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, and it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. It sounded quite merry. It couldn't be so. It was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. He knew what he saw was a shocking surprise. Every who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or another, it came just the same. And the Grinch with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. He puzzled 3 hours until his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't thought of before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they said the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he wheezed the load through the bright morning light. He brought back the toys and the food for their feast, and he, himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.